do with logic and reasoning, and less to do with reading and comprehending skills, right? So the two topics that we are going to study in today's class with respect to advanced reasoning are arguments and probably true, probably false. Now, at first, let us have a look at arguments. Now, what is an argument? What comes to your mind when we talk about arguments? So, arguments questions basically have two arguments that are given. Two arguments are given in front of us, and that has an issue which is raised through a question, right? So we have a debatable topic which is given to us. Now this debatable topic has two arguments. The first argument is yes, which begins in yes, obviously is in favor of the issue, and the one which begins in no will be against the issue, right? So we will have a debatable topic with two arguments. One beginning in yes will be favor, the other beginning in no will be against the issue. What do we have to do now? We have to evaluate each argument and accordingly choose for our answer, right? So we need to evaluate each argument and choose for our answer. We'll mark option 1 if I think only the argument 1 is forceful. So you will mark your answer as option 1 if you think only the first argument is forceful. You will mark your answer as option 2 if you feel that only the second argument is forceful. Likewise, you will mark your answer as option number 3 if you feel both 1 and 2 arguments are forceful. And you will mark 4 if you feel neither one or the second argument is forceful. So 1 is for 1, 2 is for 2, 3 is for both, and 4 is for neither, which means none. Now let us see what makes a forceful argument, but before that we will see an example. So here it says, the topic is about population, and it says, should there be compulsory family planning in India? Obviously a very debatable issue, a very controversial issue concerning the population, that should we have laws for compulsory family planning in India or not, right? Two arguments now. The first one starting with yes, which is in favor, says yes, because this is the only way to make people belonging to certain religions restrict the number of marriages they get into and the number of children they produce, right? The second says no, because any compulsion in this respect would be against the democratic setup that we have in India, right? So first is obviously yes, because that's the only way in which you can make people belonging to certain religions restrict the number of marriages they are getting into and accordingly the number of children they are producing. But no is it says that you will go against the democratic setup that we have in India. Now what do you think? What do you think should be my answer? But before we decide on any answer, let us see how will we evaluate a strong argument. So yes, here they say that the answer only 2 is forceful, so only the second argument is a strong argument. But now let us see why the second one becomes a strong argument. So each argument that you have has to be evaluated for its strength. When I say for its strength, which means its own merit, its own, uh, pointers and its own facts, and not relatively. So you're not comparing the two arguments, okay? Which means if yes is strong, then it's not that no will not be strong. Or if no is strong, then yes will not be strong. Both at the same time independently can also be strong. That is why we have the option 3, which is both 1 and 2 follow, right? Among other things, what should a forceful argument do, right? So a forceful argument must first directly address the issue that is raised by the question. So yes, it should directly address the issue that is given to me by my question. It should be an argument which is well presented. When I say well presented, what does it mean? It is written very well formatted. It does not use ill language or foul language, right? For any religion, any caste, any culture, any. So it respects all religions and is very well written. Third, it should be rational. When I say it should be rational, it means this has to be practical and not emotional. Any argument that has an emotional approach or an emotional tone will not be considered as a forceful or a strong argument. It should conform to the system. When I say conform to the system, what do I mean? It should abide by the system, it should abide by the Constitution of India, and last is it should influence the decision on that question. When I say influence the decision on the question, again, what am I saying? That I, as a reader, and I, as an evaluator, should be influenced or should be, prompted to make or to mark that as my answer, right? So influence the decision on the question. So these were with respect to arguments. Now let us go to another topic. This topic is known as probably true and probably false. Now in these question types, what you will have to do is you will have a statement that is given to you, and this statement will have a conclusion, right? So you have statements and then you have a conclusion. However, the given statement, the given set of statement does not necessarily lead to the conclusion, right? So whichever set of statement is given, it is not definite that it would lead to the given conclusion. So hence, the conclusion that I will be deriving would be a plausible one. So what I have to do is now I have to check the degree of truth and the degree of falsity, right? So degree of truth and degree of falsity, which means how true or how false the conclusion is, and mark your answer as definitely true, definitely false, probably true, probably false, and data inadequate. Correct? So this is what tests you on degree of truth and degree of falsity. Now this is an example which is given to you. R is a man and R is mortal, right? R is a man, R is mortal. And from this you have a conclusion saying all men are mortal, right? And we have our 5 options to choose. Now the first thing is, when we have a question like this, we always look at the conclusion which can be derived, but we are not really sure about the conclusion, right? So we adopt a following methodology. We follow a certain procedure. My step 1 is that I examine the definiteness of the conclusion. When I say definiteness, then I choose that definitely true and indefinitely false है, correct? If it is definitely true or definitely false, and if I feel दोनों में से I'm unable to decide, and I don't think it is definitely true or definitely false, then I will eliminate both. So in this case, obviously my question is only about one thing, which is R, right? And my conclusion is about all men. So this can't be definitely true or definitely false, right? So hence, here I eliminate both. I eliminate DT as well as TF, correct? Now let me see the next one. So once DT and TF are eliminated, I will examine for data inadequate. So the answer choice will be data inadequate in one of these conditions. Now let us see what are these conditions. The data is about a particular thing. So what is the data about a particular thing? For example, X. So the data is about X and your conclusion includes other elements as well. When I say it includes other elements as well, which means it's about X, Y, or it is basically a generalization. When I say generalization, which means there's a logical gap between the data and the conclusion, right? So the data is about a particular thing, which is X, and your conclusion includes other elements as well, right? So this above example becomes an example of data inadequate, because obviously I'm talking about R and my conclusion is about all men. So this is a fine example of generalization. एक man के बारे में अगर information, so I can't conclude about all men, right? Pens are used for writing. X is not used for writing. X is not a pen. So now let's evaluate this statement, right? If DT and DF are eliminated. Examine data inadequate. Here again I cannot say DT or DF, right? Why I can't say DT or DF? Because again my option for DT and DF will be very evident and it will be either 100% true or 100% false. So here it is not that way. I don't have any extreme words also, so this is not DTDF for sure. So now I'm examining data analytics. It says pens are used for writing, X is not used for writing, X is not a pen. It doesn't say only pens are used for writing, otherwise the answer would have been different. It doesn't say all pens are used for writing, few pens are used for writing, some pens are used for writing. So which means it does not give me any consistent relationship or information about the pen. So the data statements themselves are inconsistent or they provide no concrete information about anything. The above data that I have gives me no information about the pen, but as you see, the conclusion is about the pen, right? So hence my above example becomes an example of data inadequate. Okay, further now. Now we've seen when to use DT, when to use DF. Now we have V. We've also seen VI, right? Now we have PT and PF. So now for PT and PF, if DI is eliminated, let us evaluate probability. Correct? Now here it says that either students are professional. So what is the chance of X being a professional? 50%, right? And what is the chance of X being a student? Again 50%. So if the chances are equal or more than 50%, I will choose my answer as probably true. And if the chances are less than 50%, then I will choose my answer as probably false, right? So here obviously it is 50% or more. In fact, it's 50%, right? 50% of student and professional because it's either or. So in this case, my answer will be probably true, right? So again, let's repeat the procedure. First, we go to DTDF. If I can sustain them very well, I'll mark my answer. If not, I will eliminate both. Once I've eliminated that, then I will go to DI. DI के दो cases हैं. One where there is a generalization or question is about one thing and your options have other options as well. Or you will have no concrete information about anything and hence that is data inadequate. Then we come to PTPF. So if the conclusion has 50 or more percent chances, then it is probably true. If it is less than 50%, it is probably false. Right? Thank you so much, guys. I hope this session would have been of some value to you.